So you know what they say, right? There's three. Let me make sure y'all see this. There's three sides to every story, right? There's his story, there's the other story, and then somewhere in the middle, there's the truth. In this particular case, there's Terence Crawford's story, there's Bob Arum's story, and then somewhere in the middle is the truth. Okay, that's what they say. You know what I'm saying? That's what most people go by when it comes to allegations. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to rumors. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to certain things being discussed about someone else's character, right? There's three sides to the story. Well, guess what? We have Terence Crawford's side, right? You know, somewhat. Obviously, he hasn't publicly spoke about it, but you know, for the information that is out there in regard to the lawsuit against his former promoter, old man Bob Arum, and his former promotional team, Top Rank, we know, you know, pretty two big factors when it comes to that particular lawsuit, as well as the allegations. One of the big factors is saying Bob and Top Rank still owe me money. They ain't paid me all the money that they were supposed to pay me. I should have more money in my pocket. But the other one was a big one, especially in today's climate, was the allegation allegedly that Bob Arum was racist. Him and his team conducted business in terms or in ways that to Terence Crawford and his team felt were racially motivated. Now, I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty or the details when it comes to this because I don't have the details to this. I don't have the nitty gritty to this. I don't have the specifics of this. So there's no need for me to be analytical when it comes to this joint. All we're doing here is we're reacting because, like I said, we have Terence Crawford's side to an extent. Well, finally, we're going to be able to hear a little something from old man Bob. Bob has finally been asked a hard question, and we're going to see what he has to say. Okay? I've been waiting for this. I'm very interested to see what Bob has to say because let's be real, man. Not too many people do what Terence Crawford, you know, is currently doing. I'm not going to say I applaud it. I'm not going to say I'm against it because I don't know what the truth is. But at the end of the day, if any of the allegations are true, if he's missing out on $5 and there was one time he felt Bob Arum came at him and treated him a certain way that was racially motivated and shit, do what you got to do, brother. You a grown-ass man. I ain't got nothing to say other than if you feel like it's right, you know what I'm saying? Take it day by day and make your way. You heard me? Okay? That's how I see it. And then on Bob Arum's side, shit, it's a business. You've been in this game 90 plus years. You probably, you know, been through this rodeo 100 million billion times. One of the, you know, most famous times with Floyd. Floyd, you know what I'm saying? He left Bob Arum, wasn't out of his contract. They got into a legal battle and he just paid out the rest that he owed of his contract and ended up, you know, working for him. So Bob's been here before, but this particularly is a little different, obviously, because of the climate. We're in a whole new era, and allegations like this are pretty serious, right? Pretty serious. But with it being Terence Crawford, I'll be 100 with you. There's not too much momentum behind it, as in the boxing fans kind of like, especially when things are like racially motivated. Y'all know how boxing is. People be so racially drawn to, you know, that's one of the other like biggest factors in boxing, especially when it comes to media, making money and having people eyes on you, is making things racially motivated. So, but I'll say with this being the case, there hasn't been much momentum picked up behind it in the boxing media, which I think I'm surprised because usually a lot of these YouTubers, man, they jump at the first chance, you know what I'm saying, to make a video about something they feel is racially motivated. That's not what I'm doing here. I give a goddamn, I care less. I'm here for the, I'm here to see, just watch it from the inside out. But what I do care about is I want to go ahead and hear Bob's side. I want to hear what Bob has to say about these allegations from Terence Crawford. So let's listen, shall we?
I really got to hear you speak about this since it happened. That Terence Crawford and the lawsuit, we were there at the post-fight when he splits from Top Rank.
Well, again,
any thoughts on the matter?
Terence is being advised by the wrong people. I mean, the best thing that could have happened, that once the contract was over, we went our separate ways without any vitriol. I mean, as far as Top Rank is concerned, as far as I'm concerned, Terence is a wonderful fighter, one of the best fighters, no question about it. But he didn't help at all in any of the promotions because he was the kind of fighter that siphoned himself off. He would prepare like a son of a bitch.
So real quick, I want to let him continue speaking, but that he contradicted himself. You can't say that he took away, you know, he didn't promote properly himself. He was a guy who siphoned himself off, but he trained like a bitch. Bob, that's why he siphoned himself off, because he trained like a bitch. Also, too, I don't like the factor or the idea of you trying to make it seem like these top fighters have to promote themselves or they have to have a certain character so people to buy in. Like, listen to Dana White's interview on the Logan Paul podcast. Logan Paul is basically trying to get him like, oh, if only you can get, media training, and some of these guys are such great fighters, but if they had the personality, and Dana's like, I don't want them to do that. I want them to be themselves. So it's like, I get these guys to be killers, be fire. If they have a great personality, cool. That's an anomaly, great. But I want people to buy into who they are. I want them to be themselves. And I'm like, as much as you guys want to say anything about Dana and how he pays people, when you listen to him talk about his fighters, he never undermines them in the sense of they have to be something else. Now, we have seen him undermine his fighters if they feel like they're not playing along to his game. But when it comes to the promotional side, he's always like, that's our duty. We'll do what we can to make sure people know about the fight, etc. Obviously, we're talking about different money being exchanged. We're talking about a lot less money being paid to the fighters on Dana's side. So obviously his incentive wouldn't really necessarily be worried about, hey, does this particular fighter have a persona? Because obviously the bigger the persona, the more money that he might have to pay out because that fighter starts to realize his own brand. Yes, okay, I understand that. I get it. But at the same time, hearing Bob say something like this, where it's like, you got this, like, look at Errol Spence. Errol Spence is more boring than Terence Crawford outside the ring. Like, when he talks, it's almost like he's moving in slow motion. But people aren't buying his fights more because he's more entertaining to watch. It's because he's on a bigger promotional company where they're able to promote their shit in a way where it's like, these are the best welterweights, right? Let me hear what else he has to say.
And he would work real hard, but that hurt us to some extent promoting his fights. And that's why the results that we got in the promotion were left a lot to be desired. What he got in the ring was tremendous because he never came into the ring not fully prepared
and focused, right?
Yeah, and focused.
But I'm like, well, wouldn't you lose more money if he decided to lean toward the promotional side of the game, go into the ring not fully prepared, and then lose? He was literally your guys' biggest star other than Lomachenko.
But I get it. There's two sides to it. There's the promotion side and the fighting side.
Sure.
Right. But Bob, I learned recently there was that iconic summit meeting it turned into with Ali, highlighted by Ali and Jim Brown and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I didn't realize till recently that you played a big role in organizing that, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel, that should come to light when assessing the allegations being...
I mean, allegations that are stupid, I don't even pay attention to. You can call me a lot of things. You may call me cheap. You might call me greedy if you want. There's a debate on that. But don't call me racist. That's like fucking stupid.
So you heard it from the man himself. He finally addressed the racist allegations. Apparently, he's saying the reason why I have not said anything or even gave you detail on, my opinion or my feelings on that, because he says it's so far-fetched, it's so idiotic, it's so out of my character. Why do I need to say anything about it? Interesting. I got to tell you this, man. Bob Arum is a straight shooter, right? And I'll give him that. And I don't expect him to be anything else. He's fucking 92, 93 years old. And he's such a straight shooter. I almost think that if the allegations were true, he would sit there and be like, hey, look, I'm 93 years old. He may think some of the things I do is racist, but it's not. I'm just from a different era. Like, I really think he's that old and that straight shooter. He would say that, but at the same time, he's a businessman, millions of dollars. He understands the climate. So you can't do that. You're going to lose a lot of money. But I don't know. Either way, like I said, there's three sides to every story. We got Terence Crawford's side, and now we got a little bit of Bob Arum's side. Somewhere, the truth will come out once this lawsuit is over. And however it is ended up being resolved, that's where we'll find out what is true or what is not. But how about we do this? Let's play court. I want to know from y'all, Black Goose family, what do you guys think? Do you think any of the allegations from Crawford is factual? Do you think, Bob Arum may have had some racially motivated business moves toward Terence Crawford and his team? How do you guys feel about, basically Bob Arum saying, Terence Crawford had to learn to also not only be a savage in the ring, but outside as well. So it's his fault that he feels like he was left out on some money because we didn't make all the money we expected to make from him. What do you guys think about this? How do you guys feel about this in entirety? I want to know. Obviously, drop it below in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know how y'all feel, Black.